Okay, so because of the pelvis position, the leg bones will turn a certain way. So if I sit here and have these legs just kind of hang out here in front of me, I'm not holding them in and I'm not letting them be really far out. I'm keeping them in and they're relaxed and they're just kind of dangling there. And my legs, back of my knees are almost to the table, but not all the way. If my pelvis is actually straight ahead, then I'm going to have the same arc of movement on my right leg and on my left leg. But if my pelvis is in a position where it's oriented around to the right, it's going to change the position of my femur bones, because in order for my femur bones to look like they're straight ahead, I actually had to move them over to the left to just make them look like they're straight ahead. And so to show that, I'm going to move my right leg first. I'm going to move my right leg out to the side, and I'm going to go as high as I can without my hip hiking. And I'm going to see that that's roughly 30 degrees. And I'm going to judge, where do I feel that? Right now, I feel that on my inside thigh, and I feel a cramp occurring on the outside of my hip. Not on the front of my hip, I felt it on the outside of my hip, which means I was using the inside thigh down by the knee to help move my leg out that way, turn my femur in so my foot swung out, and I was using a muscle on the outside of my hip. More than likely, it's called the anterior gluteus medius and minimus together. Probably that's what I was using. I was feeling a cramp, which means that muscle was overworking, which means it wasn't being helped. It was doing too much work because it was cramping. So now, after I've done my right leg, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to turn my right leg out to the side, and I'm feeling down the inside of my leg, and I'm feeling outside of my hip, and it's pretty strong out there. Now, I'm going to sit and do the exact same thing on my left side. I'm going to keep my thigh bone on the table. I'm not going to lift it up. I'm going to keep it down, and I'm going to move it out to the side, and that's all it'll go. It will not go any further. If I add my right leg, you can see that my right leg is nearly double the range of motion. So I'm going to go ahead and do my left leg again. I'm going to turn it out any higher than that, and I'll start doing some weird side crunching stuff. And right now, what I feel is a cramp on the outside of my hip. Now, I didn't feel it on the front of my hip. I didn't feel it really at all in the inside thigh on the left side, but the range of motion was less. So I'm going to do, that's my first test. Okay, so now I'm going to lie on my side and I'm going to check my leg motions in another way. So I'm going to lay on my right side first, and I've got my legs stacked, my back is gently rounded, and my hips are at 90 degrees, and my head is relaxed. I'm going to take my top leg and I'm going to bring it straight back behind me so my hip is all the way straight, and then I'm going to let it come down and rest on the table. And pretty much that leg is straight, and pretty much my pelvis is the same. I didn't really, drop my pelvis. I didn't really arch my side. My pelvis is pretty good, and my knee is all the way down toward the table. It has to at least go half past the midline, so past your zipper. And then I'm going to come up this other way, and I'm going to check my other side now, my left leg. And here I am. I'm in my 90-90. My knees are stacked. And I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to bring it back behind me. And I'm going to try to let my left leg go down to the table. And I cannot let it won't go unless I let my side arch. If I keep my pelvis level, this left leg will not go down toward the center. So what that lets me know is that because I have a certain pattern of right leg range of motion and a certain pattern of left leg range of motion, they fit the pelvis. So now I'm going to stop and do a repositioning exercise, and then I'm going to try these tests again, and we're going to see what happens.